if you want Kevin or I or any question about the promotion or whatever, let us know. Otherwise, thank you everyone for coming along.
Do you want to do a stand-up with Kevin now?
Yeah, Kevin, come. We'll do some photos.
Hey, coming in, David. Yeah, mate.
Kevin, just step in, mate. What? There's no step in a bit further, please. What do you like about David?
I think what I like the most about David Nyika is he brings a high level of skill. In fact, it's no secret that he is the most skillful fighter in New Zealand. Back-to-back Commonwealth gold medals, qualifying for the Olympics. There's a high level of skill, and he was always on the top of our list to have as part of our camp, and especially once COVID hit and the chances of us bringing in overseas sparring partners were nil. It made his value a lot more important. He's done one sparring session with us to date, and and the questions that you're asking him about the camp, like he's been here for 2 days. We're going to be asking a lot of him in the next 4 or 5 weeks. We sparred Tuesday, where he did 4 rounds with Joe. Tomorrow we're sparring again. The numbers will be going up. And as I just mentioned, over the next 4 or 5 weeks, we're going to be asking a lot of this young man. But we're very confident that he can deliver the style that we're looking for the fight against Junior Far.
So what were the options if you couldn't get David?
Well, there are other fighters here. We've got 2 other big super heavyweights that have joined our camp. One of them in particular we're using already, and he is very much Junior Far-like. And I'm very happy with what he has shown.
So the preparations are good, or as good as you can manage?
I'll tell you what, and David he'll back this up, my major concern coming down here to run a training camp, and let's remember in the 8 years that Joe and I have worked together, we've never done a training camp in New Zealand. It's usually we're down here for 2 weeks prior to a fight, and during that time we're tapering off. So to come down and conduct a training camp here, not knowing what Joe was going to be, what sort of condition he was going to be in when I arrived, was a concern for me. And then with the lack of sparring was a major concern. But I feel, in fact, Joe and I were out having breakfast this morning, and I mentioned to him I feel very relaxed and very comfortable about where we're at with our sparring program. So camp is going well.
What are you predicting for David Nyika once he goes pro?
I think he's going to be an exceptional talent. And many years ago, I've been singing the praise of David for a long time. In fact, I sat down with him and his mother and brother after his back-to-back Commonwealth Games gold medals, and I said to him, David, it's a hell of a launching pad now for you to turn professional. And he had missed out on the previous Olympics, and I said, God forbid, I would hate that you draw someone who's better than you and you don't qualify. He's obviously in the top 2, 3, 4 200-pound fighters in the amateur world. So he deserves to be there, and he's qualified now. But at the time I was saying to him, this would be a great time to turn professional. The whole country is behind you. They know who you are. They watched you as a young man win your first gold medal, and then in the convincing fashion that you backed it up for the second, that was the time I thought to turn professional. But his dream has always been to go to the Olympics. And, we're going to see him at the Olympics, and let's hope he can win a gold medal for New Zealand.
Absolutely. And post that, you reckon he's...
I think I'm very confident that he's going to make a name for himself on a world scale as a cruiserweight. In fact, I'll come out now and say I think David Nyika will win a world cruiserweight title.
Kevin, what's Junior Far's style like to replicate, particularly the field common?
The super heavyweight I was talking about before, I'm not going to throw his name out there because I don't think we need to. His style and Junior Far's was like a mirror. So I was very, very pleased with him. We've studied Junior for a long time. Joe and I and our team, ever since Junior first turned pro back in 2016, we've been watching, and we always knew that one day this fight was going to happen. I remember a couple of years ago people being very critical because know, his name was being thrown around as an opponent for Joseph Parker. He wasn't ready 2 years ago. Let's remember, he's only been a professional for 4 years, but he's ready now. He's 19-0 now, and Marv, we've studied him. We've watched the things that he has improved on. We've watched his work with Malik Scott, who really helped him with the skill set work. Doug Binney's done a great job. He's been with him for the whole 19 fights, and of course Eugene brings a lot of international experience, mainly with MMA. But there is a high level of confidence in their gym. They have a good program, and I'm sure that he'll be lapping it up and looking to call on all that confidence for a fight like this. And I think it's, when we talk about confidence, you don't really know until you step out and that big light is on you how you're going to react. Now, we knew very, very early in Joseph Parker's career, the 6th fight against Francois Botha, where he was fighting a guy who was at the end of his career, but Joe was at the beginning of his. And he walked out to hit a live pay-per-view card in New Zealand on the 6th fight, and with the swagger of a hardened professional. And we all, since then he's just grown and grown and grown. Joe has had 15 pay-per-view cards in New Zealand. In his career of 29 fights, 23 times he has been the lead act on a pay-per-view card. So, we know what Joseph Parker does when the big lights come on. We don't know how Junior Farr is going to perform under those lights. But one thing we do know, this is a massive opportunity for Junior Farr. This is a life-changing opportunity for him. So I believe that we will see nothing like we've seen before. We'll see the very best that Junior Farr has to offer.
Do you, and the talk of perhaps fighting Southpaw, does that throw a spanner in the works?
No. That stuff's just water off a duck's back. I don't give that any thought at all. I would love him to come out Southpaw. Then I'd be very confident very quickly.
Yeah, open areas to expose.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Bryce, did you have a question?
I'm saving.
Okay.
Saving.
Yeah, they're all kind of packed in on each other.